Hello, welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name's TJR. I'm a musician and a music writer.
And my name is Robert Kinsler, and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And we're going to do something different today.
Completely different.
Yes. If you are new to our channel, and if you, of course, are a regular viewer, we do a regular series called Music Worth Buying, where we review new album releases by artists whose work we feel is worth spending your hard-earned cash on. And we review albums, new releases by established artists, legacy artists. We review new releases by brand new artists whom we've discovered and say, hey, these people are great. A little bit of background. We both grew up in the classic rock era. And we have both been listening and seeking out new music ever since, throughout all the decades. We're both in our 50s now. We don't have any problem disclosing that. We have always been able to find great new music.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as regular viewers know, both through playing music and obviously being a music writer, I go to Coachella every year, and I always make a point not just to watch the headliners. And some of the great musical discoveries that I've made over the years have been because I've got there early and I check out some of these emerging and rising artists from all genres, EDM, hip-hop, rap, Metro. Obviously, I love Americana and rock. That's probably my first love.
Yeah.
But I'm always open to seeking new artists. I don't just simply listen to the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and call it a day. And I know you don't either.
No, I'm always trying to seek out new albums, listen to things. And while we find no shortage of new music, we both have a lot of issues with a lot of the music that makes the radio these days. A lot of the pop music that tops the charts. When you go to Spotify playlists, YouTube playlists that tell you who's trending now, we find a lot of it to be cliched, formulaic, antiseptic. It's all recorded to a computer grid. Any emotion or feeling is sometimes bled out of it by making sure it matches to a grid.
Right.
Today, we thought we'd do something different. Rather than bring in two albums that we're both excited about, we are going to just listen to three artists who are as of today on the top of these charts. We're going to react very honestly about them. I know normally we only bring what we're excited about, so of course we're positive, but here there's every possibility we're going to be quite negative about what we hear, but we're not here to hate on anything. We have no desire to dislike anything we listen to, and we're always that way when we check out new music. Not everything appeals to us, but we always try to give it a fair shake. And so the three songs that we picked there, we found that just immediately, we just looked for the first things that were topping the charts. Never Really Over, the latest release from Katy Perry, Press by Cardi B, and Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. And so we're going to start with Katy Perry. Now, of course, we've both heard of her.
I've not seen her live, but I did review a concert film of hers. Some of the things you said, I find it very formulaic, but some of her songs are, very catchy, very infectious. I go into this saying, okay, I'm not the world's biggest fan, but I'm not going to sit there and say, she's.
We don't go in there just to bash.
Yeah, well, yeah,
exactly.
And as a music writer for so many years, I always try to go in with an open mind, and because sometimes I've been very, very surprised, and definitely my horizons have opened up. So so let's listen to a little bit of Katy Perry here.
So we're going to start with that. Here we go.
I'm losing my self-control. Yeah, you're starting to trickle back in.
By the way, anybody watching this asking, why aren't you playing the whole song? We are listening to the whole song, but we are editing this down because we want to avoid copyright flags from the record labels, who will more than likely do that if we play the entire song.
Guess it's never really over. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over.
Okay, so my first thought, it's very electronic sounding, which both of us tend to dislike more than we like. Though we have heard examples where we think it works.
Right. Like Churches I like very much. So they're in that vein.
Yeah. But it's this very kind of simplistic musical arrangement behind her vocal, which is nicely performed. But then what happens is she finally breaks into this kind of staccato lyric. And then the music is kind of doing the same thing. The drums are and then you hear that synth line. And it's just like too much of the same thing all at once. it's monotonous.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It's like a throwaway jingle. I don't. When you're telling me that, and you did the research, I can't believe that this. And again, I want to give it a little more time here, but I can't believe that this is on the top of the charts. I'm just like, wow. But because, like I said, even compared to some of her previous hits she's had, it's just not very interesting. Trying to give it a fair shake here. There's just not anything very interesting, and there's not a lot of emotion or a lot of presence in her vocals that also makes me want to tune in very, very fine.
She sings nicely, but yeah, I'm not hearing any sense that she's living through this song.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm sure like it was written for her. Maybe she did write it, but I'm just not feeling a connection to it.
Everything. This is typical of what we don't like about a lot of modern pop. It's very robotic sounding.
Yeah.
Everything is, and if you don't understand this, it's recorded to grid. So the drum beats are the drums are clearly not real drums.
Right.
If they were real drums,
they were sampled or
they
something.
They were then moved to. They were then quantized to fit to a grid.
Mm-hmm.
So they're as robotic sounding as possible. Every single instrument sounds as robotic.
Right.
And as a result, her there's no variation in her vocals. And if she did sing, obviously she sang, but I have a feeling that maybe even her vocals were quantized to fit to a grid. So everything is as robotic as it can possibly sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even though she has a nice voice, her tone is very pleasant. I'm going to assume she hasn't been auto-tuned. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that there's no auto-tune going on. But her vocals, just her phrasing, everything is as robotically to grid as possible. So either she sang it naturally and then they quantized it, or that's just how she sang it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's listen to the rest.
Okay. Let's listen to a little bit more here and we'll see what we think here.
I gotta rewire this brain, 'cause I can't even go on.
This part's a little better, in my opinion, just because there's a little variation
Not even checking.
in how the arrangement contrasts with her vocal line. This part too, she variates the vocal. The vocal lines has a variable here now from the rest of the music. This reminds me of a lot of Taylor Swift songs too.
Yeah.
I have to admit.
I'm just not feeling anything when I listen to it, TJ. I'm just not. Like you said, it's perfectly executed for contemporary music like this, but I'm just not feeling it.
In the hands of a different producer, this might be a really good song. I don't know, maybe.
And like you're saying, her vocals mirror some of the things happening underneath it. There's not a lot of diversity within the arrangement.
Yeah.
And this is where the song's building, and it's still not it's not pulling me in. I don't know what you think, but
there's a slightly interesting bit of harmony during the ending part where she's singing in a harmony that's kind of interesting, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. There's not anything really special or really that grabs you.
It's not a terrible song. Yeah. It's just kind of there in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm just like I would, if we were doing the old thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing, I would not give this one a thumbs up.
I would just give it kind of like this.
Yeah.
It's there.
I guess if you're in a dance club and it's kind of playing in the back while I'm with buddies and having drinks and stuff, I guess it would be fine or something. But
I wouldn't be compelled to dance to this.
But it's not even going to grab my ear like, oh, what's this or anything. It's not gonna sweep me off my feet or anything close to that. Yeah.
You had mentioned that you had previously liked a couple of her hits.
Yeah.
I'll admit I liked Roar. I thought that was a
that's a much better song than this.
Much better song
than this one.
Yeah, I had previously liked that, but otherwise, beyond that, I've just...
like here, it had the one part where her voice builds up, but it wasn't like a build that blew you away. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I think that the intent is to blow you away, but it just, like I said, it's not awful, but there's nothing really special about it.
I should add that the parts where she's kind of singing very rapid fire, that can be very hard to do and sing with power, which she is doing. That can be physically very hard to do, and I should be impressed with it. But it might be that this track is, like a lot of contemporary tracks, heavily compressed to make it as loud as possible so that you lose the dynamic range when she is building vocally, when she's going from and she's building up, to something powerful. That all gets lost because you take the lows, you take the highs, and you squash it to make the whole thing loud. And that could be why we're not emotionally feeling anything as well. Besides the fact that it's probably quantized, it's also probably heavily compressed, and that might be what's taking away the emotional power.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, if you, so we're gonna ask this question on each song. Would this track make you want to, if you hadn't heard of her before, and if you hadn't heard any other hits that you liked, would this song make you want to seek out more?
No.
Yeah,
no,
same here.
Yeah, there's too many choices out there, even in contemporary music, and I've mentioned some, but there's just nothing here that's going to reel me in.
Okay. So let's go to the next track.
Okay.
And this is going to be Press by Cardi B.
Okay.
So before we start, have you heard of Cardi B?
I have heard of Cardi B. I'm not that very familiar.
Now, I've heard of Cardi B. I've listened to a couple of reviews of her music by Anthony Fantano on the Needle Drop. Let's give this a listen.
Okay.
Okay. I like this little musical flow, whatever they call it, groove. It's
Intro.
It's very cinematic sounding.
But blood on her dress. Bitches be mad when they see Cardi step in the spot. Said that you brought it, we know that you're not. I'ma pull up on bitches as soon as I drop. Bought a new on his face whenever I'm ready. Bitch, I'm a freak like Greek. Got the biggest house on my street. Oh, you little.
I don't know where to start.
Neither do I. I'm perplexed.
I'm perplexed.
I feel totally lost as I'm listening to this.
I'm like, I can't relate to anything she's singing. It looks,
Is it a generation thing?
I don't know if it's a generation thing. I mean, I'm just telling you. Okay, there's nothing in the production is minimal, actually.
Very minimal.
Very
At
minimal.
first, I liked the opening
and her
musical
diction,
aspect, but then it got repetitious and
very
boring.
very repetitious. It's like she's even struggling just to even communicate what she's doing. I mean, but obviously, when you say is it a generational thing, I mean, so this is obviously a very successful song. It's one of the top songs. Wow. I mean. Yeah, so
if I didn't have the lyrics in front of me, I would not know what she was saying.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
except for some of the expletives. This is supposed to be her reacting to the press and how the press has covered her. Aside from what I would have to call the chorus, for lack of a better word, because she finally says, "Press, press, Cardi, don't need no more press."
Yeah.
But I don't read anything that tells her what exactly it is.
Yeah, I don't either.
The preceding lyrics in no way seem to describe that to me.
No, there's not an eloquence to them at all.
There's nothing that I'm catching as to how that relates to it, and why doesn't she need the press? And I'm kind of lost completely.
You know, if this was on the radio and I'd listened to a few seconds of it, I'm going to change the channel. I'm sorry, I'm just I'm just not connecting. You know, and if it is because I'm an old dude, I'm an old dude.
There are some funny lyrical moments. If I'm looking for something positive, there are a few funny things that I thought were kind of funny. There was that little line about she received something, an order came to the door, a new whip that she bought, and a crib for her daughter.
Yeah,
talking about both dark sexuality and yet being a mother.
Yeah,
there is some humor to that, that contrast in the lyrics. But beyond,
there's also a real angry tone to it. Like the one lyric, "Got the biggest house on my street. All you little hoes look cheap."
Yeah,
I mean, there's also this like, "Look what I have and you don't." And and I understand that. That's part of rock and rebellion going back forever about that whole thing to lash out. But again, she's not a sympathetic person where I care that, okay, you have a big house, great. I'm glad, you won the lottery, I get it.
Maybe if we were, now I don't know, maybe if we were better immersed in her catalog, maybe we'd find that maybe this is just one small facet of a lot more of other things that she's talked about. Maybe this would make more sense. I'm trying to give her as much credit as I can.
Okay.
But this is honestly the first thing I've ever heard from her.
Yeah.
Same for you?
Yeah, me too. I wasn't very impressed by Katy Perry. I'm very much less impressed by Cardi B.
Yeah, I would say. This was at first mildly more interesting than the Katy Perry song we just heard, but then it kind of just became incoherent to me. It unraveled and just became incoherent. Yeah. Okay. We pretty much finished that track. I don't think we need to listen anymore.
Let's move on.
It's interesting. These are all female artists. I just realized that now. The next one we have is Billie Eilish.
Okay.
It's a song called Bad Guy. Now, had you heard of Billie Eilish?
I have, because what I did is I was at Coachella this year, and Billie Eilish was one of the most talked about artists there. I had every intention of seeing her, but you couldn't even get near the stage where she was performing because I caught all Weezer's set, and literally when they ended, she started. So I would have had to been run over there, but I couldn't even get. There were so many people to see Billie Eilish that I couldn't even get over there. Yeah, I couldn't even get there. But I haven't listened to the album since, or this song since I reviewed the album, and it has been a few months.
Oh, you've reviewed this album?
Yeah, so I reviewed this album. So let's dive.
Do you want to say what you thought prior? Or
Yeah,
do you
no.
want to wait?
Well, no. Let's listen
to it
I want to
first?
get your feelings.
Sure,
So
you don't want me to be tainted.
Yeah. So and then I'll talk about what I thought. But let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of this, and then
Let's do it.
talk about it.
Sure.
Okay.
I like this opening bass line.
Yeah, I do too. Very much so.
Like no one knows, think you're so criminal.
Okay, let's pause real quick. So right away, compared to the last two people,
Oh.
I like that little bass line.
Yeah.
I like her melody line, the way it contrasts to the bass line. I like the singing. I like the way she harmonizes with herself as well. Let's keep listening.
And,
Something else
I want to say another
Go ahead,
thing
yeah.
that jumped into my. It's like. It isn't fully generational because I've seen Courtney Barnett, the great young Australian songstress. Boy, are her lyrics interesting and just like this. So again, we're saying as a generational, this is someone I know she's in her teens. So we're obviously far removed from our teens. I totally connect that she has some interesting things to say. So let's keep listening, and then we'll opine when we get a little bit deeper into the song here.
I seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. Duh.
That's
nice
cool.
transition here into this little synth part here, this little melody here. This is good.
And
very minimal but effective. Wow.
She obviously has a lot to say here too.
Yeah.
You know, very powerful.
I like how she deals with, she's at her age, she's dealing with some of the darker aspects of human sexuality, and yet she's also seeing it from the experience end, but from an observer's end, understanding, she has this understanding of how sex is different from real life in many respects, from how we are in the rest of our life. It's this own separate world almost. She has this understanding of that.
And the song's building. You know, like
yeah,
you
it
said,
is building. Yeah,
it's building. In other words, she had. It's not doesn't sound like it's programmed by a machine.
No, even though it's. And let's pause for a second.
Like,
even though this is all being created electronically on the computer with a MIDI keyboard, she's either really playing it on the keyboard, or someone else is.
Someone else is. Yeah.
Yeah, the drum is programmed. Obviously, that's that. But where the human element's coming in is in her voice. Her voice doesn't feel at all compressed or auto-tuned or quantized. No. Yeah. She's just singing naturally.
Right.
And there's nothing being done to process that or change that in any way. That little synth part, you know, that little part clearly is just being played. It feels like it's being played by a human being.
Right.
Not quantized. So yeah, this is all working really good.
It's
listen. I want to hear the rest.
It's light years above what we've heard earlier today. Yeah. Let's see. Like those vocals kind of shimmering there.
Yeah. It's changing now. This is unexpected.
Yeah, a little musical break.
I like when you get mad.
This is an unexpected ending.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it to keep going
but
more.
See, it's not predictable. Which
no,
is
it's
one
not
of our complaints.
Yeah.
One of our complaints with contemporary pop music is how predictable and how formulaic it is. It shows you why there's been such interest in her and the record label will reach out to me and said, hey, you may want to hear this. And I did listen to it, and I was like struck by at least, and I haven't heard everything, but I'm like, in my experience, here it is 2019, I'm hearing an artist who's unique that I've never heard anything like it. Like I said Courtney Barnett, but she's very different than this. But I go, here's an artist very young, and already she has her own artistic voice. Like the first time we heard the Beatles, or when we've heard many of the great, you know, Radiohead or Beck or whoever. Here's an artist, a very young artist, that they already have a clear direction, what they want to say lyrically, and obviously with their soundscapes as well. But very good.
She's making very good use of computer technology, computer music technology. You know, using that aspect of it to its best potential.
Right.
at least at this point in her experience. And as she grows and matures, she may even do more. And yeah, I was intrigued from the moment the song started all the way to the end. This was a really good track.
Yeah.
The next question, of course, we have is would this make you want to hear more? The answer, you've already heard this album,
Yeah,
but for
yeah.
me, yeah, the answer is definitely yes. I definitely want to hear the whole album now and just check out the rest. Maybe I'll react the same way, maybe
Yeah.
I won't, who knows,
Yeah.
but definitely it intrigues me to want to hear more.
Yeah.
So, okay, this was a new thing.
Yeah.
We've never done this before. What did you think of this? Would you like to see us do more of this? Let us know. And as always, my name's TJR.
And my name is Robert Kinsler.
And if you like what we're doing, be sure to click like and subscribe and click the notifications icon. Also, if you're new here, and I'm saying that because we're reviewing people we don't normally review on this channel, we might get some viewers who've never heard of us before. Be sure to check out the regular Music Worth Buying series where we talk and discuss about new albums that we're excited about and that we want to recommend to you. So, everybody, thanks for watching.
See you later, everybody.
Bye-bye. Hello, this is 3, 2, 1.